Alright, I'm just gonna grab my phone really quick to do a audio check. I don't see the live on yet. Alright, testing audio. I don't see the live on yet. Okay, now I hear it. So we're gonna go back to the survey project. Yeah, I believe it's right here. It's gonna look like this. Yeah, I think this is it. This is the code that's left over. Let's see what is missing. So I'm just gonna do a test. Oh, it's right here. Alright, so again, so how free code camp works is this check mark means that it passed this requirement, and that X means it failed the requirement. So that's in general how this stuff works. So what I'm kind of seeing is, says your title should not be empty. Your description says hashtag description. I think that's referring to a class. If I remember classes, no, I think it's dot class, right? Yeah. And what should have the title class? So the first H1 code, the first heading, title, and let's see if I remember this correctly. So we're applying classes. So let's say I make the color blue. And I'm gonna make title the title. Well, actually, what is the title here? So I'm actually going to make the title the same as this. Alright, so I put dot title. I thought that's how you make a class. Or is it dot and is it the other way around? Oh, it is the other way around. Okay. Now let's see if it met that new requirement. Alright, so looks like we are starting to meet that requirement. So before that was an X. So now we're gonna try to do the same thing with this. So let's say description. So make sure I spelled that right. So we're making a class here in CSS. Say, just for the sake of our just kind of demonstration purposes, let's just make the color red just so it stands out, just to make sure that we can know it's working. And what should have had the ID description? Okay, so what one has the ID description? So it's a paragraph right here, right? So we're gonna reference that class, and now all of a sudden, so before, whatever's in the paragraph, there's actually nothing in the paragraph, so I think this is what was meant to be in the paragraph. So I'm gonna copy this and put that in here. Something I didn't really expect is, I guess what's also true is, the ID. It kind of goes with the ID, where whatever the ID is, it matches, it somehow activates that class. So, I think if I'm correct, I don't actually need this. or really this. So let's run more tests. Alright, so we're passing more tests. Did this before was an X? This before was an X, and this before was an X. So we're passing a lot more requirements. Let's kind of go through this. So this is supposed to be the goal. And this is what we have so far. So we have number 1, you should have a title page and an H1 element with an ID of title. We got that. You should have a short explanation and a P element with an ID of description. We got that. You should have a form element with an ID of survey form. Do we have that? Yes, we do. Right there. Instead, the form element, you are required to enter your name in an input field that has an ID of name. Yep, so that was what the required keyword. Inside the form element, you are required to enter the name of an input field. So I made that a text that has an ID of name. Alright, has an ID of name. We did the same thing with email. And, you know, I did actually make a label around it. Inside the form element, you will be required to make the ID. Yep, so we did that. We did that right here. Inside the form, you can enter a number in an input field as an ID of number. We did that. The number input should not accept non-numbers, either preventing. So yeah, when we do make it type number, that's exactly what it'll accomplish. If you enter numbers outside the range of the numbers of input, which are defined by the min and max attributes, you'll be seen by the HTML validator. So so we have that going on right here. So I made the minimum age 18 and the maximum age 120. For the name, email, and number input fields, you can see corresponding label elements in the form that describe the purpose of each field with the following IDs. In the name, email, number input fields, you can see the corresponding label that describes the purpose of each field with the following IDs. So yeah, we did that. So we started making labels, and we have those IDs. So we did that. We accomplished 10. For the name, email, and number in the field, you will see a placeholder for the text that gives a description. Oh, so the placeholder, so we have that. So we have a placeholder for, I think, everything. I mean, we have a placeholder for email. We have a placeholder for age. We have a placeholder for name. So we have that. Inside the form element, you should have a select drop-down element with an ID of drop-down. Okay, I'll strike that out. So here's a label for that. Drop-down label, we have that. Select ID drop-down. So that's that. With at least two options to choose from. So I decided to use this actual survey as model to follow, so it'll have these elements. So it should have that. It's exactly the same. Inside the form element, you can select an option. Yep, so grouped using a name attribute. So inside the form element, so that's the select. So I'm gonna make it name equal to drop down. I think that makes sense. So then when we see the data when it gets submitted, it'll say drop down, either 1 for student, 2 for full-time, 3 for full-time learner, 4 for prefer not to say, and that's just so on and so forth. Inside the form element, you can see, alright, so inside the form element, you can select several fields from a series of checkboxes which have a value attribute. So I just decided to make it number values. Inside the form element, you were presented with a text area for additional comments. Do I have that? I think I remember putting that in. Oh. Hold on. Okay, so we have, this is a select drop down, and now we're on to radio buttons. I wonder what we're supposed to use for the name and ID for these radio buttons. Does it say? I guess it's not really saying, so let's just see what they're gonna be for. What do you recommend? We're just gonna call it recommend. That's gonna be the name for these radio buttons. And something that's kind of true is, um, okay, so this is actually this is how it's supposed to look, but if you notice, this can select both because we don't have a name, separating them. So let's say we make the name recommend, and then we make the name for this recommend. Then we can only reselect one because now it's basically all about that name and value pair. So with the radio button, you're only supposed to be able to select one option. With the checkbox, it's different where you can select more than one option. But the thing that makes a radio button is that you can select more than one option. So by it having, if you notice, once we made it have the same name, it can only be either one. So if I made this a different name, now you can select both at the same time. Because as far as they know, those radio buttons don't know each other. So we'll just call it that. So we got them grouped. So that's what they mean when they say grouping. And for ID, let's just stick with the number system. 1, 2. So it's a radio button, then definitely. So let's make definitely the first option. So on radio button, then what does it say for this? Maybe. I think we should have like a field set for this. input type radio name recommend and ID will be 3. And what's going to be the third option? Not sure. Right here. So we got the radio buttons. Then we're going to worry about the designs a little later. Inside the form element, you can select several fields from a series of checkboxes. So now what we're doing is we're going to be doing this. And I'm going to make another field set. Oh, I'm gonna make sure my computer's plugged in. It's running low. Alright. So input. Think checkbox. There we go. It's gonna be the name for this checkbox. I'll just use the word improved. Check all that apply because it can be more than one. So I'm gonna use the name improved. Oh, actually there's, I think, another select option. Does it mention that? I don't know, I'll get to that later if it does. But I'll just make the ID front end projects. I'll just make the ID this. this in a field. So the name's going to be the same, but for the ID, I'm going to make it backend projects. I'm going to worry about the design later. Right here, the name's good, and now I'm going to make the ID data visualization, so we're just going in this order. I'm going to copy this. And change the ID to challenges. I'm going to make another checkbox. There's quite a bit to go. What's the next one? Open source community. I don't think there can be spaces, so I'm just gonna put in open source here. Open source community. It's going to be another one. And it's going to be I don't know what that even means, but I'll just use the word getter. Oh. That should have been the ID. The name is going to be improved. Yeah, right now design-wise it's a mess, but I'm just trying to make sure I can get as close to the requirements as I can. CID, videos, looks like that's it. Now I'm gonna make another input. So we're just going down the list. Checkboxes. Oh. There we are. And for, I'll just say meetups as the ID. And this will be the text. So we got 3 more. So now another ID is going to be wiki. Another input is gonna be the next one. It's gonna be form. another one. And this is the last one. Additional courses. Don't want 2 words, so I'll just say additional. Actually, I'll just say courses. Additional courses. And looks like that's it. So those are all the checkboxes. So it's in pretty bad order. But it's at least close to the requirements. And somewhere we're going to need a text area. So this will make another field set for that. So it'll be name, and we'll just make that comments, and the ID will be response. And it'll probably just have additional for I think I should put this on a label. Is that what it is? Okay, I don't know. It's really bad. Design-wise, it looks horrible, but we're just going for the requirements for now. And add a submit button. So let's make another field set. input type submit. Remember it needs a method. Let's try post. Let's run the test. We'll see what happened. Pass, 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 pass. Yes, some X's. I think that could be dealt with. I think. Like this. How long have we been going for? 48 minutes. I think what I'm gonna do from now, is I think in probably the next tutorial, gonna finish the requirements, and literally I think the purpose of just the next tutorial is just gonna be finishing the requirements, and then after that we're gonna just try to get this label, get the survey form to actually look reasonable. And I'm gonna try to not use like the code or anything, because you can, if you hit view source, you can see the code of anything. So I don't want to do it that way. But if what you can use is previous code, so I'll probably use that just to make sure that try to get this to look a little more like this. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be it for this tutorial. And then the next one's gonna just try to finish the requirements, and then after that, improve the design and kind of work on the design, and then after that, yeah, I don't know. Hi, Dragon. Double X. Anthony Cruz. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. But actually, I do want to make sure that I save the code. So if we remember how to do that, let's make sure we do that. So for this, let's just copy all of the code and paste it here. And for styles, copy that and paste it here. And we'll save. And we'll save. And what we'll also do is upload this to GitHub. So we're gonna upload our changes to GitHub. So notice the changes. So we're gonna make a commit. Worked on survey form on survey form requirements on, yeah, and then I'll say on 3/18/2023 at 6:53 a.m. now. On requirements for the free code camp project. So I think that's about it. So we're gonna commit to main, and then we're gonna push it, and now all the changes are saved. So that is all.